The art of the promo. Mic skills are a major part of the entertainment package that is pro wrestling. And there are many fans that tune in just as much for what their favorite athletes will say on the stick as for what they will do once the bell rings. Just as there are many performers revered for their grappling skills, there have been those who are known for their ability to cut a promo. Here are some of the very best. Men who could light an arena on fire with their words alone just as much with their actions. Sit back and relax for another episodic YouTube adventure here on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel for Chaos Corner. One man, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog for you, the fans. Shout out to Austin Nance, my mod who holds it down, keeps it real, and maintains. And of course, the OTS Tribal Queen. Classy Freddie Blassie. Before he was the managerial scourge of the 1970s and 80s, the self-professed king of men was one of the industry's star attractions and most detested heels. This hatred was largely fueled by his gruff, overconfident, and often arrogantly indignant promos in which he would run down not only his opponents, but the fans as well. This natural gift later served him well as the loudmouth representative of many a silent WWF villains. Listen, you pencil neck geek. Harley Race. As with his in-ring work, there was nothing fancy or flamboyant about the 8-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion on the mic. With a voice that sounded like he gargled with razor blades, he could intimidate an opponent with just a word. He was a no-nonsense, meat and potatoes tough guy, and his interviews exuded that quality with an effortlessness that gave him and his title instant credibility. And Race didn't need any catchphrase, that's for sure. Nick Bockwinkel. As his manager Bobby Heenan was fond of saying, Bockwinkel was the kind of guy who, if you asked him what time it was, he'd tell you how to make a watch. Verbose, self-satisfied, and smug as the day is long. He was as cerebral a wrestler as they come, both inside and outside of the ring. During his time as AWA World Champion, he and Heenan made for perhaps the best wrestler-manager promos ever cut. You cretinous humanoids. Dusty Rhodes. In tribute to Big Dust, the American dream, because we're all going through hard times right now. What Elvis was to rock and roll, Big Dust was to pro wrestling, taking the inflections and intonations of African American performers such as Thunderbolt Patterson and making them his own. The result was a babyface with the charisma of a Bible Belt preacher who could galvanize a crowd like nobody before him, with a delivery that was as inspirational as it was thrilling. Fans identified with Rhodes as a fellow working man, and his promos went a long way towards achieving that. Live and in public, if you will. Superstar Billy Graham. WWF fans had never seen nor heard anything like Graham before. His jive talking and ability to seemingly speak in rhyme off the top of his head made him one of wrestling's bona fide cool heels, maybe one of the first. When paired against humble, soft-spoken baby faces like Bruno Sammartino or Bob Backlund, he seemed like something from another planet. A flamboyant, self-aggrandizing egomaniac who was, as far as mic skills go, wrestling's answer to Muhammad Ali. As Graham himself admitted, the first person that influenced me as far as my promos, my communication skills, was Muhammad Ali. He was the absolute button that pushed me, said Graham. He was so incredibly entertaining that I started copying his stuff. I'm the man of the hour, the man with the soul and power, the man who is too sweet to be sour. Stardust himself. Woo, Ric Flair. In the minds of many aficionados, Ric Flair represents the gold standard of wrestling promo artists. To hear him run off the mouth about his abilities, a slow build from calm, cool, and collected to red-faced and bug-eyed, that was Ric Flair. Bellowing, to listen to the blueprint of what makes for an entertaining, effective wrestling interview. This, combined with the ability to back it up in the ring, is what makes Flair the choice of so many as the greatest of all time. To be the man, you got to beat the man. Whether you like it or don't like it, learn to love it because it's the best thing going today. Hulk Hogan. The Hulkster was all about charisma, and the chief way he expressed that charisma to his legion of Hulkamaniacs was through the microphone, which was typically held by Mean Gene Okerlund. Well, you know something, Mean Gene, brother, began many a pumped-up, sweaty, gesticulation-filled Hogan promo. How about that for linguistic skills here on Chaos Corner? Take out your notebooks. Class is in session. Many a pumped-up, sweaty, gesticulation-filled Hogan promo, as I just said, in which he seemed to feed energy to his fans and feed off that energy simultaneously. Not many could have pulled that off. The Hulkster did. Rest in peace, Hulk. What you gonna do, brother, when Hulkamania runs wild on you? As we have constant interruptions down here in Chaos Corner, stand by. Don't go anywhere. Austin, get everybody a drink or a coffee or a finger sandwich or something, please. It'll reflect in your pay. Alexa, play Tropical Thunderstorm sounds. You see that she ignored me to begin with, right? That's why this whole AI thing and what's going on is going to be a slippery slope coming up here in the future. Listen to what I say. And she continues to ramble on. I mean, this is incredible. They'll go gab and gab. No.
Okay, here's a mix based on quiet tropical thunderstorm sounds by Nature Sounds Nature Music.
You can't make it up.
Amazon Music.
You can't make it up here. You really can't. Michael P.S. Hayes. When it came to the fabulous Freebirds, Buddy Roberts was the veteran, Terry Gordy was the worker, and Michael Hayes was, without a doubt, the talker, often acting as much as a manager as an active member of the team. Hayes had a style that was shaped by the same rock and roll sensibility that formed the basis of what the Freebirds were actually all about. His ability to draw heat, especially during the trio's world-class feud with the Von Erichs in the early 80s especially, is legendary. Talk about popping the territory. He's slow, and it takes him an hour and a half to watch 60 minutes, said Michael Hayes. Rowdy Roddy Piper. Frenzied, frenetic, and frantic. Say that 3 times fast, as I always say. Frenzied, frenetic, and frantic. Frenzied, frenetic, and frantic. Did I get that right? I'm not sure. What? What'd I say? Piper's promos were like smacks in the face, and his unpredictability was what gave him the edge. His way with words was highly influential in putting the WWF on the map in the mid-'80s during his war against the Rock and Wrestling Connection. And the company was so confident in his abilities, they gave him his own interview segment, Piper's Pit, kind of like Chaos Corner. Yeah, so admittedly, I took a little bit from Piper back in the 80s as far as Chaos Corner, or Captain Lou Albano with the Captain's Corner. I mean, I'm just being honest here. I give you the good, the bad, and the ugly, man. One man, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog for you, the fans, as I say all the time, and I'll continue to say it. The phrases don't change here with the GOC. I could very easily, humbly, be on this list if it was an independent pro wrestlers, pro wrestling managers who worked with the stars and the legends. 93, 94, 98, your independent pro wrestling manager of the year. Voted top 5 personalities in the Northeast New England tri-state area. Put that in your pipe and smoke. It's not about me. Focus, chaos, focus. Although not the first such segment, it was the first that really clicked, setting the standard for all to come in regards to Piper's Pit. Just when you think just when they think they've got all the answers, I change the questions. Road Warrior Hawk. The Road Warriors are most known for their brutal, dominating ring work, but one half of that legendary tag team, Mike Hawk Hegstrand, may have been one of the industry's most underrated talkers. Slightly deranged, yet genuinely funny on the mic, he functioned for years as the spokesman for the duo, when that role wasn't being filled by their manager, Paul Ellering. Hawk's trademark delivery, intense and raspy voice helped sell the team as the monsters they were. Oh, what a rush. The Macho Man, Randy Savage. Without equal in his unique over-the-top delivery, Savage created a promo style that was truly his own. He is perhaps best remembered today for his tense, paranoid interviews, delivered in that unmistakable, gravelly voice that seemed to vacillate, I think I said that right, back and forth from restrained whispering to wild howling. Ow! Whether as a heel or face, he brought an extreme intensity to every promo and made his character his own. He once explained to me, if you're trying to go out there and be something you're totally not like, unless you're the world's greatest actor, which I'm not, it's got to be something at least close to your natural persona. Are your notebooks out? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's very, very true in this industry. Very underrated, and a lot of the grapplers, talent, stars today just don't get it. No charisma like the stars that we're talking about and the legends we're talking about right now, and that's just the facts. With me, I'm Randy Poffo, but it's kind of like Randy Poffo, but tripping that light fantastic. Oh, yeah. Step into a Slim Jim. Jake the Snake Roberts. Cold, calculating, and downright sinister, Jake the Snake stood out from the rest with his ability to get the job done without having to resort to the usual shouting and screaming customary in wrestling promos. Roberts was quite the opposite. Calm and collected. He spoke in a menacing, yet conversational tone that seemed to hint at an element of evil just beneath the surface. In a field hardly known for its subtlety, he was one of the most nuanced speakers of all time. Trust me. Arn Anderson. Double A filled the role of enforcer of the Four Horsemen, but he was much more than Ric Flair's lackey. During the Horsemen's 1980s heyday in the NWA/WCW, Anderson was one of the best promo guys in the entire company, perhaps second only to Flair himself. Together, they were the perfect counterparts. The Nature Boy's grandiosity was balanced by the Enforcer's measured, confident tones. Adversity introduces a man to himself. Mick Foley, whether he was Cactus Jack, Mankind, or appearing under his actual birth name, Foley was a textbook example of how great promo skills could help to propel a performer into the upper echelons of the business. He didn't have the greatest physique, and his in-ring style was based more on masochism than grappling technique, that's for sure. But when Foley got on the mic, you could be sure you're going to listen with rapt attention. Have a nice day. Bang, bang! Stone Cold Steve Austin. There may have never been a top guy in WWE who was unnaturally gifted on the microphone as the Texas Rattlesnake. First making waves in the company with his infamous Austin 3:16 speech at the 1996 King of the Ring. Austin 3:16 says, "I'm going to whoop your ass." Stone Cold had a reputation for delivering convincingly badass interviews that seemed to be more like legitimate shoots, even if they weren't. Fans believed in Stone Cold Austin, due largely to his brash and authoritative promos. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. CM Punk. Without question, Punk's most famous promo was the so-called pipe bomb he delivered live on Monday Night Raw in June of 2011, in which he sat on the entrance ramp and appeared to shoot on WWE, Vince McMahon, Triple H, and others, although the promo was indeed a planned part of the show. Hello, McFly, is anybody home? For all you geeks and goons and sickos and psychos and neckbeards and mouth breathers and virgins and fans with the brain of a dehydrated baby who think you know something and you actually fucking affect the business and what they're going to do and what they're going to say, get your head out of your ass. No offense, man. As I always say, kayfabe. Lighten up. Known as the guy who would tell it like it is and wasn't afraid of offending anyone, his worked shoot, get it? Style interviews appeal to insider fans, smarks, and casual fans alike. I'm the best in the world. Alexa, play Tropical Rainstorm sounds.
Here's a station based on
Do you
Tropical
see
Rainstorm with
the
Thunder
disrespect
Sounds by Sisterhood Hub.
from this mechanical bitch? I mean, no offense, man. How are you guys enjoying this so far? I think it's fantastic. Bray Wyatt. The new kid on the block, Wyatt, the real-life son of Mike IRS Rotunda, is a natural on the mic, and his enthralling promos are the key reason he's been able to get over as well as he has, reportedly bucking the modern trend of scripted speeches. Wyatt comes up with most of his own stuff and seems to have an innate rapport with the camera, with fans to a degree, and with the fans to a degree that is quite rare in the business. Very true. Rest in peace, Bray. Follow the buzzards. The Rock. Although he was more the type who relied on an inventory of catchphrases, those catchphrases were so hilariously entertaining that they helped make The Rock one of the top WWF/WWE, when they took the F out, performers of the late 80s and the early 2000s, and one of the most famous pro wrestlers of all time. Whether he was laying the smack down, threatening to stick his boot sideways up someone's candy ass, or challenging opponents to go one-on-one with the Great One. The Rock's promos were the highlights of any show. If you smell what The Rock is cooking. Kurt Angle. Surprisingly. One would think being a gold medalist in heavyweight freestyle wrestling at the 1996 Olympics would have been enough to make Angle a success in the WWF, WWE. But of course, pro wrestling requires a different set of skills. Proving his amazing versatility, Angle was able to enhance his unparalleled athletic credentials with a gimmick that played up his all-American wholesomeness. Turning himself into an unbearably self-important, phony babyface, he remains one of the best total package the business has ever known, and one of the best transitions ever from another sport. It's true. It's true. Oh, it's damn true. Tell me what you think. We're a little over 20 minutes in here about the list of some of the best talkers on the mic, promos in the history of pro wrestling. Tell me what you think. There's many more that could be added to this list. These are just some that we came up with, and of course, the legendary author, New York best-selling author, former employee at Titan Towers of the WWE, also wrote for WWE Magazine. Really one heck of a guy, and that would be Brian Solomon of the Shut Up and Wrestle podcast on the Vanguard Network, and of course the writer of this book, which we've been reviewing here, Pro Wrestling Fat. Thanks for being here. I'll say that to say this, because I tell it like it is. In order to get respect, you have to start with respecting yourself. Once you do that, you open other people's minds to respecting you. Because there's three types of people in this world. Those who don't know what happened, those who wonder what happened, and people like the GOC, Big Daddy, that make things happen. Sit down and shut up, fat boy. And I can tell by the IWC and everyone that I can smell from here through the camera. The IWC, where the men are men. And obviously so are half the women. Don't you dare miss it.